Okay. All right. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Maggie Schoonover. I'm the faculty advisor for NASA Suits. We are recording this session. I think a lot of people couldn't make this time frame, so we're going to post it to our YouTube channel this afternoon, basically. So if you have friends or you know people that are interested but couldn't come here, make sure they watch this video later, and then we'll have some homework for you guys after this. We're going to play a little video, and then we'll get into the challenge description itself.
Now, I want you to make yourselves comfortable and settle back. Now, are you all ready? Here we go.
Okay, so NASA Suits stands for Spacesuit User Interface Technologies for Students. Basically, it's NASA hosts a number of what they call like STEM challenges, like Artemis STEM challenges every year. I think it's like half a dozen, and Suits is one of them. We've been participating in Suits since 2020. We've had 3 of the last 4 proposals accepted. If your proposal is accepted, then you actually get to participate in the challenge and you get to go down to Johnson Space Center during test week in May and actually test your designs. So I don't know, can you guys tell like where the WSU team is in that top photo? Yeah. So thank you, Kristen, for the t-shirts that Elliot's sporting for us today. So Perk, you get awesome t-shirts if you're in Suits. So basically, you're going to use some kind of augmented reality device to prototype or simulate a user interface that helps astronauts navigate missions on Mars. So these photos are from 2022. At that time, the challenge was for South Pole of the Moon. So they tested at night. Last year, they moved to Mars, so we were testing during the day. But this is a pretty good example. So this is a screenshot, actually, of the C2. So this is actually like developed. And then that's a picture of our students with their design environment at the rock yard. So this is a pretty heavy software challenge. You also will be designing likely like a local mission control center. So basically you have a person in the habitat, and they've got like their kind of command center in front of them, and they can see all the suit information and whatever other mission information. And then you have a person in the field wearing the headset. It's a very interdisciplinary challenge. So we've had people from all majors participate, really heavy on game design concepts. So if you like development, especially in Unreal Engine, this is for you. A lot of UX, UI design, human factors. So we do some, what's called human in the loop testing. So you actually have to put the headset on somebody, run them through some tests, get feedback. There's also some hardware involved. So this unit that she's got on her chest here, we don't have one, but I would really like one. So if you guys are interested in hardware, there's opportunities to build that kind of stuff. There's pictures later that they'll talk through that's got a rover in it. So it's very, very broad. There's lots of work to be done. We also have an outreach component. So if you like marketing or writing and you like to do outreach stuff, there's a lot of that in Suits. Geology. So when they're out doing tests, it's always to do with rocks. And so if you're in geology and want to participate, that's always helpful. You'll learn agile product management stuff, and then also we just need good vibes. Just a couple notes on eligibility. So Suits is not as restrictive as some of the other challenges in that anyone who's enrolled as a college student can participate. But if we go down to Johnson Space Center, only US citizens or permanent residents can go on site. So they have some events that are like, they're on campus, but they're not behind the gate, right? You have to be a US citizen to go behind the gate, which is where these pictures are from. So just kind of note that. Only 5 team members can go on site anyway, so we don't find it to be much of an issue. We usually have like 8 to 10 students on the team, so there's always going to be that, but just note that and know it's kind of maybe like a pass for some people. Also, this is completely student oriented. So you'll have some industry mentors, but you guys have to do all of the work. Okay, so I have a number of pictures. We're going to have Yumi and Elliot talk through them. So these are two Suits alum from last year, and they're just going to share their experience with you and a little bit more about the challenge itself.
Hi, I'm Yumi. I was the co-lead of the team for last year, and I think that I would like to talk a little bit of the experience. This is a 2-semester commitment. The first semester, it's the writing the proposal phase. So you have to do a lot of research. And I remember our very first meeting last fall, we didn't know much about spacesuits. We didn't know what all these different phases that they talked about in the proposal were. But then we just learned, we researched it, we learned on the go, and then we wrote the proposal and figured out a way to propose a solution. So if you're thinking, I have no idea about spacesuits, or I have no idea what mission space is like, do not let that hold you back. This is a learning experience. It will, like, the team will learn on the go. Then I think that after that, we wrote a proposal. We have a deadline this year is October. Yeah. Okay. Then you submit a proposal and you wait, and then at the end of the year, they tell you, they select 10 top teams to go to Houston. So at the end of the year, they told us, oh, you guys were selected. And then on spring semester, we worked on designing and creating the prototype that we already had in paper, basically. And then you have a check-in with them. They tell you, they see that you're still working on it, and they invite you down to Johnson Space Center. I don't know if we have any international students, but I am an international student. And the experience, it really is more than those test days. I think there are 2 days where you go on site, which is, I think there is other pictures. Yeah. Those. Yeah, that's on site. They have a rock yard and they pretend that they're in the moon or Mars. But as Mai said, there only 5 people can go anyway. So if you're an international student, don't get discouraged just because you won't be able to go test on site. You go to Houston for 4 days, and there are so many more things going on than just the testing. Then I don't know if I'm forgetting. Yep. Do you want to talk about the test?
Sure. So I guess I'll talk a little bit about how the actual test week went when we were down there. It's pretty cool. It's definitely very packed into such a short time span, but yeah, you're on the rock yard, which is basically a simulated Mars environment. And you have your NASA evaluator who has your headset on and everything. And you have 2 people or a couple people in a trailer that's supposed to simulate the habitat. And you're basically like directing them to go through this mission or whatever. And yeah, it's very cool, because you get to kind of be mission control and see your thing come to life. And yeah, very nice.
I think we were testing here, just like pretending that we are testing in Houston and just trying to figure out what we needed. And then I remember after the first testing, so we had assumptions, you need to have as many things as you can in your VR and your AR. And we didn't really care that much about LMCC, the local mission control. And then after the first testing, we were like, that's the most important thing. So it's also just like, even when you're there, you're still realizing things that are important. You're still learning. You wanted to say?
No, I mean.
And then that picture in the hotel room here. And also that was the night before the second testing. So I think it was almost an all-nighter. The developers were all working so that we can make as much progress as as much as we can. And then this is the last day. We also had to prepare an exit pitch. So I feel like two different teams, we like split it up and we both just like worked very late. One part of the team was working on the presentation and the other part of the team was working on developing. And overall, I think that the experience just really gives you a hands-on opportunity to learn about how you would solve a big problem, like it will be managing a mission in space. And you go from like the challenge, the mission description, all the way to building the solution if your proposal gets accepted. And you also are able to make a lot of NASA connections. And Elliot even got an internship at NASA this past summer. So. Want me to go? Or?
Yeah, I mean,
so we had 6 different majors in the team. We were 9 members and 6 different majors. And that just makes it such a interesting experience because we all had different points of views and things to add to anything that we were working on. So let's say we had 2 designers and they will design something, then Elliot's our space engineer and he'll be like, yeah, but I don't know if that's gonna work. So you have to also find the balance between what you can design, but what you can actually build. And then we also had people from design or innovation design who will be like, yeah, but is this, I don't know, do we really need all of this, or can we do something like do a little bit less work but have like achieve the same goal? So I think that it can correlate or it's parallel to an experience that you're gonna get out in the real world when you're working, because you're not only gonna work with engineers or only gonna work with marketing people. There are a lot of spaces where you're gonna have to collaborate, and learning to collaborate and learn from each other is also a great experience. You want to tell that?
I mean, we were pretty much the only team with more than just software developers. So it was, yeah, it gave us an advantage in a lot of different ways. Yeah.
And also the people from NASA just couldn't understand how we only had one game design major that knew Unreal Engine. And then, but we had 4 developers, 5,
Yeah.
4 developers. And they were just like, how if, your whole team except one didn't know how to code or do anything, how were you able to do this challenge? And that's also just like, they just can't understand. And it's just, everyone's super surprised that we made it. In a good way. Yeah. It's not like, oh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you guys can see up here.
Oh.
Thank you. Yeah, so basically it was an advantage for our team. So a lot of the other teams were maybe exclusively mechanical engineering or
Software development.
computer science. Yeah. Whereas the WSU team has always been very interdisciplinary, and it sets us apart in very obvious ways that you see once you get down there.
Yeah, I was going to add to that during test week and leading up to it, another big perk for student teams is that you also get to talk to the other schools and other colleges. So a big part of this that NASA is wanting you to do is kind of collaborate within the different colleges as well, which is a fun experience. When I was in school, we didn't really do that, but you guys had the opportunity of like doing Discord calls or even Teams calls and kind of working through a bug with somebody from a different university that was also working on the same bug. It was really cool to see that from my side of things as an advisor last semester.
So a couple other things I want to mention about the experience itself, and then we'll get into like what do you need to do next steps. So like we had graphic design majors that just started with sketches, and then you go into the next fidelity, which is digital sketch, and then you do the next, and that's how we do this iteratively. You're gonna do research presentations. You're just gonna have fun. You can make friendship bracelets, but it's a lot of work, and we try to make it as much fun as possible. And at the end, I mean, you guys still like each other, right? Like your friends, kind of. So yeah, so it's a good time. You can win awards. So Kristen was the faculty advisor for last year's team, and she won the Artemis Educator Award down at Test Week, which is nominated by the team. There's also some technical awards that you can win as well. But yeah, it's
Like
a
collaboration awards, like the
Yeah.
best team that collaborated with the other teams got an award. There was like innovation award,
yeah.
maybe one other thing, but yeah.
Okay. We're gonna get through the rest of this and then we'll answer questions because I know it's a lot of information. So the timeline is that, so next Thursday, they'll actually announce this year's challenge. So if you go to the NASA Suits website, it'll say, check back here, September 5th. They post the challenge details for this year and then the date. So like when is the proposal due? When is our team selection announced? Things like that. You are here today. Oh no, this is August. Okay, so NASA has an official info session as well. So you submit a letter of intent. That's something that I do. They have a couple of info sessions, so you can ask NASA specific questions about this. And then in early November, it's usually November 1st. Sometimes it's like October 31st, but it's around that time frame. You guys submit your proposal. So you don't have a lot of time. You have like 7-ish weeks to create a team, get to know each other, do some background reading, create a design, write a proposal, turn it in. So it's kind of hectic there. And then we get to take November off a little bit, and then they get back to us in early December which teams were announced. In the past, they've told us they get more than 30 proposals, less than 100. So not a lot, but they're not very specific. And then you have to be top 10 to be invited to participate in spring. Okay, if the proposal is accepted, we basically use most of the spring semester to build it. We have a number of outreach events that we'll have to host. That's part of your proposal. In April, they have a software design review with NASA mentors. So that's where they check in, make sure that you have enough to bring down to Johnson Space Center and test. Assuming that you guys do well here, it's more of a formality, but still, you can't assume that you'll just finish everything up the day before we fly down. That's not. And then May, I think this is what they posted tentatively. This is test week. So a lot of the pictures that you saw at the Rock Yard, that's when we fly down to Houston. We spend the better part of a week there. They have a lot of events. We'll have the exit pitches and Rock Yard testing. They have a poster session. They have tours that you get to go on to. It's a really good time. It's very overwhelming, but that's basically everything you're doing is a working up to test week. Okay, things that you guys get out of this. Basically, we are building an Unreal Engine. So if you're interested in any kind of augmented reality, virtual reality, extended reality development, this is an excellent opportunity. You can come in. This is, in my opinion, or at least for what I do at the university, the best example of product development while you're in school versus just having a job at a company doing product development. Like we use GitHub for version control, so it's very collaborative. I think most of the time students have only ever built a project on their own. This is different. So you have to learn how to communicate and collaborate with other team members, not erase their code, things like that. You get to put on a lot of headsets. We'll use agile product management approaches, so very iterative development. You have a backlog, things like that. That's my expertise, so that's how I help you guys predominantly. And then you get comfortable with software design reviews. We don't have design stuff in here. There should be a bullet point there for like UX, UI design and testing, but a lot of technical skills that you get out of this and the whole kind of product innovation loop. In terms of human skills, you'll learn collaboration. If you've never worked with people outside of your discipline before or haven't very often, this is a really good experience to learn how to speak different vocabularies. Human-centered design, a lot of self-management. I'm your faculty advisor, but I'm not your manager. So you guys have a lot of autonomy and responsibilities. We have check-ins, but really it's your product that you're building. And then some travel experience. We do some other fun things too that aren't pictured, like we'll go to the Cosmosphere. We'll try to do testing outside. We have some team building events, things like that. Okay, and then if you like suits, we always have other things going on too. So we do some kind of AR/VR research downstairs in the OpenXR lab. There's other NASA challenges that we can do. This is excellent on your resume, especially if you want to work at NASA, obviously. You'll get contacts. We've had multiple students get NASA internships. I think we've had 3 students out of the last 4 years get NASA internships, and we have more applying. And then you make new friends. Okay, in terms of time commitment, NASA describes this as the equivalent to 3 credit hours. I think it's more like 4 by the time you add spring and fall work. What would you guys say? Yeah. 4. Okay. So I describe this as a part-time job. So if you, as I know most of you are enrolled full-time and you have a part-time job and you want to do suits, it's going to be very difficult. So just make sure that if you're signing up that you are prepared to maybe have conversations with your employers about making time for this. It's not
a lot of people answers and make it work, but like Heidi said, they had to make it work versus like you're just going to stroll in every couple of weeks. That's not good.
Yeah, no.
And especially, I think this fall is writing the proposal, that for spring, like if the team makes it for next semester,
Yeah.
you'll have to purposely like make time for it.
Yeah. It's more of an in or you're out thing. There's no part-time suits team members. There's lots of opportunities for degree credit. So we offer a couple of opportunities. If you're undergrad, you can get innovation and practice credit or graduate. I know you can get engineering plus credit if you work with your advisor. If you're in graphic design, you can get the internship. Yeah.
For engineering plus, what would it call?
Research. Yeah. I think honors college is the same. You can get honors research credit for this too. It usually just, you have to like work with your advisor and get a piece of paper signed, but we do that all the time. And then weekly team meetings. We're going to do this for fall, hopefully for spring, but depending on team availability, maybe we can move this in spring. But for now, team meetings are Thursdays from 1 to 3. So if that helps you guys with your scheduling. And we meet here, we meet downstairs in the OpenXR lab. Okay, these are just some general expectations. When you guys like sign up, like fill out the application, you can read these, but just know that we have high expectations for professionalism at all times. And I'm not afraid to have a meeting if we need to, if we have some conflicts, but just know that this is not your average student group. You guys are representing WSU always, and we have had a lot of success in this, and we want to maintain that, obviously, that reputation for being a good team, professional, respectful to everybody. These are other expectations that are also listed in the application, which we've kind of touched on already, but you're expected to attend the majority of meetings. Obviously, things happen and you'll have to miss for appointments or whatever, but it's a full-time commitment. We'll have outreach events. We don't have like an outreach team and an everyone else team, so you will help with outreach events regardless of what your role is. You will contribute at all levels of the product development. Obviously, you'll have your area of expertise, but you are expected to participate in everything. And probably the number one expectation for now is if you're going to apply for the team, you have to complete human subject research training through CITI. And that's because if we get the proposal accepted, we do testing, you have to have this completed to participate in testing. And if we get any travel funds from NASA, you have to have completed this training. And this just means that you know how to, not violate the law when you're testing with people. The reason you guys are checking in is so I can email you instructions to do this. So make sure you scan these QR codes and check in. Okay. I think this is the last information slide, and then we'll take questions. So this is today. You're here. If you're online, hopefully you're watching this in the next like 24 to 48 hours. I want you guys to complete city training as soon as possible. It will take several hours. We have instructions in a video, so we'll walk you through some things. And then I would like your application by like next week. So no later than this time next week. That'll give me and Yumi a couple of days to review the applications, and then you'll get an email, not this weekend, but next weekend, saying like, welcome to the team. You'll have a bunch of homework to do, because then our first formal team meeting will be like whatever, September 12th or something. Yeah, September 12th. So challenge announcement from NASA comes out September 5th. That's why we want the team to be selected around that time, so that you can start reading and get prepared, because basically we have to hit the ground running with the proposal stuff. And then we have some team building events in September. So this is the QR code. It's the same as the one on the tables. Is that right? Is it? Okay. All right, I'll take some questions. Just super overwhelmed.
Yeah, is it scary?
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you're like, what the hell is this? What did I?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. I think that's the first reaction from everyone. Like every time somebody comes in here, they hear all these things like VR, AR, all this different stuff, and you're like, wait, what? No, I just heard NASA and I heard this is a cool thing. It is a cool thing. Like Yumi said, when it happens every time the description comes out from NASA, it is like 20 pages. You're flipping through it and you're like, what did I sign up for? I don't know what's going on. But as a team, you work through it, you figure it out, and then within a month's time, you're writing a proposal that usually gets accepted. Baggy mentioned it, like here's the skills that we're looking for, but we have no expectations that you fit every check mark. You have the thing that you're good at, and even if you don't feel like you're a designer or a developer or a geologist, that good vibes, that's a serious thing. We're looking for the skills of having good vibes. Sometimes you need that person in the room who just can come up with some cool ideas, can help with different events, and just the all-around kind of person that brings people together.
Play music,
like the good vibes of a group. Raise your hand if you've been on a team that sucks and it's been a bad team. And you're like, one person did all the work, right? We don't have those teams. We purposely facilitate, Yumi and Maggie will purposely facilitate different activities, events, conversations, and different meetings, so that their team is a good team. And that comes from being interdisciplinary, that comes from the extra work that the faculty advisors put in. And that really is, in my opinion, why Wichita State always sticks out from the other teams. I remember the first time I went to Johnson Space Center for test week, I was talking to another team and I was like, oh, so you guys have known each other for a long time, like talking about their teammates. And they're like, no, we've been on the team for the whole year, but we actually just met each other first time in person on the plane. And it wasn't like it was COVID or anything. This was like 2022. They should have known each other, but they didn't get together in groups. And where our team's walking in, like jumping on each other's shoulders and like making jokes, inside jokes and stuff, because they actually did get to know each other and kind of have an experience on top of the NASA experience. I think that's all I have to say about that. But yeah, there's a lot of, it's okay to be intimidated right now. If you're at least a little bit interested, keep dive in head first, and you're gonna get a lot from it.
All right, questions? Drew, you had a question?
I have like a schedule conflict, so I have a class on Thursday, like 2 o'clock, which ends at 3:30.
Yeah. So can you come for the first hour? So that'll work. Yeah, we've had lots of students have to do that.
I have the exact same class.
Okay.
Schedule, or might be the same class actually.
Same. Are you guys all in the same class
Yeah.
together? Yeah. You guys can hop on a scooter together and ride across campus to get to the.
So I will say
Okay.
that's your time with me every week, and I need to see you, right, to make sure that we are keeping good team vibes. But you guys will have to meet many other times during the week, and that can be whenever you want. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna
Come on
add,
up.
I was gonna add, that's the time where you're gonna get access to that advisor mainly, and like you show what you're working on or what questions do you have or anything. But aside from that Thursday, you will have to either meet online or get together another day that works for everyone, get some work done. Like that's gonna need to happen so that the proposal is done. But yeah, that's just like our availability, but you guys will have to also find other times.
It can be at 10 o'clock at night if you want. I won't be there. And neither will you be.
Yeah, cool.
Other questions? Okay, well, I have more for you. This is the official NASA Suits website. If you have not reviewed this yet, you really should. Okay, this is the CosmoShox website. So this is our website. This is where we list, I guess we just brag about our past teams really.
Yeah.
And then you can get a better idea for like some of the experiences that you'll have with us at WSU. So CosmoShox is the name of our student teams. So you can name, we had different names for first couple years and we decided we want to just have one name, makes it easier.
Yeah, so another thing that some people might get confused about is the College of Innovation Design hosts CosmoShox. But the whole point of the College of Innovation Design is to be interdisciplinary. So whether you're a fine arts student, human health and performance, an engineering student, every student can take any class that the College of Innovation Design offers, as well as participate in the events and challenges that we host. So don't get stressed out if you see College of Innovation Design and you're a College of Engineering student. That's okay. We're interdisciplinary. We want you to come take these, be a part of this, be a part of the challenges. And then, yeah, the CosmoShox thing, once we realized we're going to have more than one winning team, we're like, wait, let's keep our same name. So if we make some cool t-shirts, we can use the t-shirts, use the designs, don't have to rethink and like put effort into branding every year. So we just kept the CosmoShox brand.
Yeah. Thank you
consistent.
for that clarification.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So all that time was talking about Suits. Suits is AR software development with a local mission control center, human loop testing, all that. If you're like, well, this is cool, but I'm more of a hardware person and I just cannot get excited about software at all, are there other NASA challenges? There are. So we're going to add MicroG Next this year. Elliot basically said Suits was awesome, but like, I'm bored of that and I want to do something else.
That sounds exactly like Elliot.
But basically, we've been told that this is a really cool challenge also, and this is all hardware. I feel like it might be cooler in some ways because if you get your proposal accepted, you get to test whatever you build in the neutral buoyancy lab, which is this giant swimming pool where they have a mock-up of the International Space Station. And that's where astronauts like actually train to do moonwalks and spacewalks and stuff. It's much more restricted than Suits. This is the reason we haven't done it in the past. But basically, you get to pick from 3 challenges. Either you get to build a sampling device, like if you're picking up rocks on the moon, you get to build like a spacesuit attachment tool, or you get to build a search and rescue tool. Same kind of time frame. They've released the mission description already. Proposals due this fall. They'll announce proposals accepted in December. The difference is this is undergraduate students only. You must be a U.S. citizen to participate at all. And only, I think like 5 or 6 people can go to test week, period. So Suits is a much more interdisciplinary, larger kind of challenge. We have a larger team. This is new this year, much smaller, more restricted. So if you're interested in talking about MicroG Next, Elliot's gonna stand over here or there. I don't really care. But basically come up and talk to Elliot. He's gonna be the team lead for that and organizing that this year.
Do you want them to write their name on that board if they're interested?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Write your name on the board and then talk to Elliot if you're interested. Elliot's gonna stand over there. It's just you're gonna go over there. It's gonna make more sense. Cool.
That's it. We'll hang out if you guys have questions.
Yay. Good job, everyone. There should be a better way to end this.
Yeah.
And done.
Yeah.
And seen. And now what do you want to talk about? You can go and chat.